Slovakia is undeniably a beautiful country thanks to its location in the heart of Europe. It is rich in fascinating archaeological sites, cultures and discoveries. As thousands of years passed, people came with them, settling the land, building, creating and living their lives. Those lives left behind traces and stories, and it is these traces and stories that we will follow. The grave from Cífer, a warrior between worlds. Cífer is a village in western Slovakia not far from Trnava. It lies on the fertile plain in the shadow of Carpathians, and today moves at peaceful, quiet pace. Fields, roads, ordinary life. Yet, even quiet places can conceal a dramatic stories, and Cífer is proof of that. Despite today's silence, history once walked this land. Avars, Romans, Germanic tribes, Celts, and it is the last two groups that are crucial to our story. Before the First World War, a cremation grave in a Latin context was reportedly discovered here. In 1931, the find was handed over and registered at Vlastivedné Muzeum, which we can translate as a regional museum in Bratislava, and it was the predecessor of today's Archaeological Museum of the Slovak National Museum. What they had was unmistakable. The grave of Germanic warrior. The inventory consists of a deformed single-edged sword, shield bows, spearheads, two knives, scissors, brooch, dating the grave to the Latin period, sword scabbard fitting, and metal rivets. The grave was dated to the second half of the 1st century BC, so to the time of Caesar or King Burebista or Burebista. It sounds like a beginning of intriguing story. The questions are: what was a Germanic warrior doing in the Celtic environment? Where did he actually come from? And how did he get here? Rather than referring the owner of the grave goods simply as a Germanic warrior, let's give him a name. Let's call him Sigmaras. So, Sigmaras, man without bones, yet with the story. Where might he have come from? No skeletal remains have been preserved. The burial was most likely a cremation. This grave is most often associated with the Převor culture. The Převor culture is one of the most important Germanic cultures in Barbaricum. Its roots reach back to the late Iron Age. Scholars often associate it with the tribal confederation of the Lugi, mentioned by Roman historian Tacitus. In his work, he states that beyond Suebian region lies land inhabited by various tribes. The largest territory belonged to the Lugi, divided into several groups. The core of Převar's culture was located in the southern and central Poland. However, this influence extended into the eastern Slovakia, Transcarpathian Ukraine, and northern Czech Silesia. What reasons might Sigmaras have had for leaving his homeland? We can only speculate. Given his complete warrior equipment, a sword, spear, and the shield, it can be assumed that he was no ordinary man. The presence of the sword, a particular, which was not common part of Germanic warriors' equipment at this time, suggests that he might have served as a mercenary. This, supported by Celtic origin objects, including swords, found in the context of the Převar's culture, would not have been an isolated case. There were plenty of Germanic warriors willing to risk their lives for payment or glory in the service of Celtic chieftains. Gaius Julius Caesar writes about this in his commentaries on the Gallic War, mentioning that tribes of Arverni and Sequani hired the Germanic warriors for pay. We should not imagine a small group of individuals. This could have been larger contingents, led by their own chiefs, gathering at strategic points, much like armies in the Middle Ages or Renaissance period. It remains uncertain whether Sigimaras took part in the now forgotten conflict or served as a guard for a caravan transporting amber. Cífer lies only a few kilometers from a mountain pass leading into the region of Slovak part around Morava River, Záhorie, through which Amber Road passed. Amber, a material valued not only for its beauty but also for its magical and protective qualities, was highly demanded in the ancient Mediterranean, and it is also known both from Celtic environments and from the mountainous homeland of the Puchov culture. Interestingly, another Germanic warrior grave is known from Puchov, Ihrište, and pottery from Pláňany group or Převor culture has been found, for example, in Bratislava city parts Vidrica and Devín, and in Liptovská Mara Havránok. These finds testify to contacts during this turbulent period, even if they were likely in limited scope. There is, however, another possibility, an alternative. A man of Vanius' retinue. The grave was not discovered through systematic archaeological excavation. It cannot be ruled out that it dates to somewhat later period, the time of the arrival of first Germanic groups in our territory. It could have belonged to a warrior settled here together with Vanius around 20 AD. This interpretation was proposed by archaeologist Helegen and supported by archaeologist Titus Kolník. The debate continues to this day. Where the truth lies, we may never know. One thing is certain. In Cífer, a warrior was buried who lived in a turbulent age. Whether he served Celtic chieftains, amber traders, or was a member of Vanius' retinue, his story remains a fascinating testimony of history. Whether as a tale of worlds intersecting or of a man in a new homeland at the crossroads of the Iron Age and the beginning of Roman era in our region.